I'm seeing familiar faces. I'm Alexey Gorozhankin, the operational director of FlexSoft company. Today we are speaking with Yuri Koshikov. Speaking shortly, this is the main expert of the company who is engaged in business processes, construction. The main topic of our speech is a revolutionary approach to the launch of the project hypothecation for building construction. A couple of words about FlexSoft company. It was founded in 1991. We've been at the market around 30 years. The company realized projects with banks, including VTB, Gazprombank, SMP, and the company had done more than 150 implementations in the biggest banks of Russia and former NCIS countries. The offices of the company are in Moscow and Barnaul, which allows the bank to capture the whole territory of Russia, and we are at our service 24 hours per day. Our participation in the associations, these are the companies with whom we cooperate. Yesterday, we signed the agreement with FinTech Association. This is very good progress for us, and we are participants of Association of Banks of Russia. And besides, we are active participants of profile associations such as Developers Association, Russian, National Soft, and so on. Now I want to tell about our main project. This is the unified technological solution for banking called FXL platform. This is the platform which allows to capture all the tasks and objectives which are necessary for retail and cooperative needs of the bank. The main components of FXL platform are shown on this slide. Core system. This is a core or key part of the system. General ledger, account engine, and back office. It is a separate block which includes calculations and active and passive operations and tools for utility management. And next part is iBPM. Separately, I want to drag your attention to this part. It is called in Russian the system of business process management. It is a smart system of business process management. This is our know-how, and the system was developed by us, especially for our center. And a separate block is data force, analytical storage of data force 2.0. What are the advantages of our product for business, and what is the difference of FXL platform of other Russian products? First difference is possibility to work 24 hours per day, 7 days per week, uninterruptedly. And upgrade of the system happens without upgrade of the services. In the end of the operational day, you should not stop the whole work of the bank in order to upgrade the system. The mentioned iBPM processes is one of the main advantages of our system because it is tuned, it is made directly for financial market, and no user should make settings, especially for certain banks. It's like Lego constructor. You just can make your own model. And effective marketing, the user has to spend a minimum of time in order to launch the product. This is one of the advantages against our competitors. We cannot spend years for developing a good product, and in order to launch our product, we need just several hours. Next slide is iBPM processor, Lego constructor principle. This is the driver which allows to manage the products fastly, flexibly, and effectively. Our system already has set business processes like calculations and account opening and other. So if you buy our product, you should not address the vendor in order to launch it. You should not create something new on your own. So as you see on this slide, it's like Lego constructor. And very clear advantage which our platform provides is a possibility to use the instruments called low-code programming, and they're getting more and more popular in the market because the necessity in IT resources has been growing very fast, and many the human resources and experts who are ready to solve some financial tasks on the market are less now. If an expert doesn't have certain IT skills, this employer can create a new process. Our system allows to create new products with minimum code volume without creating something new. And moving to the practical part, I can say that low-code instrument and iBPM processor allows to solve such questions like organization of a new business and creating of a new product. Why we are talking about this example of this new case? Recently, our client, retail client, wanted to launch a new project. Regarding hypothecation in individual house construction, and they wanted to realize the process of hypothecation issue, and they approached the current vendor, American vendor, and they were surprised with their answer, with the response. The implementation was very fast, but very costly. Therefore, the bank addressed us because we have inserted iBPM processor, and it was provided with hypothecation product. So the only thing we needed to do is to optimize the product for the bank. So this was the task for us. We had 2 months to provide the solution for our client and to enrich the business process with the opportunity to
With external and internal systems, what have we offered to do? We've evaluated the scale of the disaster and we came to the conclusion that we can do this process through one Windows system with a minimum overhaul of the functioning systems. And we already had ready adapters with an integration with the ROS registry. Also, we've included the integrator company that helps in doing mortgage loans, and because we use this often in Excel, in general, it's no big deal to integrate it with it, and it's also a back office for our system. How? We were able to see the overview of the project. If we split the process of approving a loan request in 4 blocks and the client request, we go to the existing CRM system of the bank, and it was also done for the next step is the decision to the recipient of the loan, whether it's done or not. If the first stage was successful, then in the second we have work of the platform of Excel, so it's done for underwriting of the liability for the loan and the assessment of the liability, and also a visit of the specialist who come with the photos and also get together a dossier, and the final stage was also done in the CRM system. And the fourth stage, getting back to Excel, is approving the excellent request to the ROS registry. So these 4 stages have to be done for the users of the system through one window, and to do seamless integration of all the processes that are involved there. How we've implemented this task, how did we cover the functional gap between what bank wants to see and between what has already been established in our business process of handing out mortgage loan. We also needed to reconsider the architecture and to redesign the architecture of the system that allows to install this seamless integration of all the systems and services participating in this business process, including from the external services, ROS registry, the integrator company that does sending the data, and the most important thing was to retain the concept of a single window, because the bank's user has to work through one-stop shop that's in the system or that historically has been done. Thank you very much for your attention. What we were able to do up to this moment? We optimized the process on handing out mortgage loan. We've added the underwriting of the bank warranty, united it with a field visit fund manager. We've also done integration with ROS registry with requests for online issuance and a common information system. We've also improved the electronic signature service for the documents by stakeholders in the deal. This is a separate service provided by separate companies with whom we've integrated. Okay, what are the results? And the decision in itself was made just as we planned in 18 months. Oh, sorry, in 1.5 months. And also we've spent some efforts on integration process. What we had in Europe, on your part, it's 1.2 months of work. And now bank has the opportunity to scale up this products, for any mortgage products, using our capacities to change the bank guarantee, to add new product offers, so the subject of the guarantee could be used in various combinations. And bank now has the opportunity, using this architecture, to first of all always have the opportunity whether to use the existing CRM system or to use the FXL platform or to implement new products with iBPM, with the opportunities of our iBPM processor. That's it briefly, and I think that you will add something uh, to my word, maybe the description of the process. Yes, well, you've written presentation. I'll be brief. A little bit about Alexey has outlined the business task, the picture of it, and all the other moments that will cover this. And just a little bit about history. As you know, in any major bank, historically, it has been so that banks always made the decisions that fit the target task. So this is the system has to calculate, has to count the bookkeeping, and it's a CRM system that provides for sales and process, and then etc. etc. So in major banks, we sometimes have more than 500 various integrated systems. Of course, the data bus that gathers it all together, and in general, this approach is a working one, but at a scale, I remind you that the banking process, in terms of its meaning and in terms of its direction and focus, are very difficult always, and there are simple deals that have a seller and a buyer, and we also have a process of compliance. There are lots of requests to the external systems, and we also have a system of confirming data, some internal data processors, legal requirements on the federal laws, the requirements to analysis of the loan recipient, co-recipient, and many other things. So, what Alexey has mentioned before, and as a result, in the end, we hit the wall. The wall was that the time frame set from the business side for launch of the project ended up to be unsolvable in the existing system infrastructure. Of course, when there are lots of systems and the product or any business process, let it be mortgage for individual house construction or mortgage loan with a with an escrow, it this process does not cover one system; it covers all the systems. So we need to keep in touch with the customer. We need to get this request to the internal banking service. We need to hold scoring. We need to verify the co-recipients' data. We need to come up with an electronic digital signature to sign it, and to register the agreement, and also to open or not open various options. And it turned out so that bank had a certain cycle of releases, and so that all the products bank still needs for it all not to fall down, for it all to work, for it all to work correctly, for the customers to be happy, to keep everything else. So bank sticks to certain types of cycle. It can be quite a lengthy one. You also need to end up in this cycle. So in this case, help came to us from an unexpected side. So historically, in the bank, we carried out our solution carried out the role of ABS. Now I'll put it back for a little bit. Alexey, his presentation. Let's put it here. Very well. In essence, bank used from our solution, it used first the red and the blue boxes, core and back office. So it's used as a calculation accounting system to account for loans and to have a non-specific loans IPPM as an engine was there because it's the back part of it is in the core, and we position it as a separate product, but technically it's in the core. So bank used one colleagues came to us and said, okay, can we do this? And why is it possible? Why this configuration is possible? IBPS plus IBPM. It's a unique thing on the market. You don't see it even if you take a look. And we have a BPM engine. It's a separate. It's considered to be a separate class of solution, and the system that solves the task to automate any process. Most frequently, it's a universal platform aimed at everything. There is no big deal to sell, whether it's soil or anything else. And in the beginning, I've outlined that bank, fortunately or unfortunately, has a quite high specifics of a process that can be quite complex, and we've tested it several times when we take universal CRM and with the universal BPM, and for a long time and with great struggle through many teams, it's adapted for banks' internal processes, and most often it gets to programming, to coding, because there are some cubes, and then so that they can do something else, we need to do this long lines of code. And here we have BPM and just the code. So BPM and its design is to that we didn't follow the ways to integrate it with existing decisions, because understanding the specific of the banking business, initially we've built our BPM as a financial one aimed for banking business. It means that it can work and operate with all the banking entities out of the box. It knows what the banking client is. It knows how the customer can be created and what checks can we do, and they know what are black and white lists, the list of invalid passports. They all know it. So these are the building blocks that Alexey told us. He said that he knows what the loan agreement is. He has an internal UI components that visualizes these entities and can describe them. But besides the calculations, besides the agreements, and we'll know that this is the terminology. That is not the industry VPN that you don't need to learn from scratch. That is why, in essence, our task was to check the operation of that it's our solution that we can integrate with. We have all the interconnected components, so the task was easy, and we did it easily with low code. We had practical developments and not all the development there, but if it's there in the volume, then I've calculated in the end of the project for labor requirements. We had analytics for developers. Well, it amounted to 3%. Everything else was the labor demand in analytics. So we were able to cover it all with the help of the engine. And I would like to say this moment, as Sergey touched on, and this seamless integration between existing CRM of the bank, the single window, why the single window, and in the bank, the service is done for the client. The client comes in, he authorizes it, and they do work within this component, granting access to various products and services. And in essence, it's the experience of individual house construction, and because physically it's done in a different system, and here we could also integrate not only on the level of backend, but also to do a visual information, because the user has to see what's going on there, at what level the request is, and maybe they were unable to get the data from GRM, and there needs to be some kind of response for parts. So how do you go out from this system and load it into a different one? We did this tokenization, and the system threw to us the request for creating this personal cabinet, or to authorize it, and we've taken a look at, if you don't have this user, then we have to create and generate unique token, unique entry tokens. So and get them back. So we do it through CRM.
текст. И
CRM base provided us the user and the context for the user. And for the client, the account was just available on his screen, and the client was able to see the whole context of the deal. He could get the opportunity about the rights of the client and about the rules of the bank, and here he's able to get all the information, and the client has access to all the information and his account. So how the process was arranged? First, the application from the client, then we were processing it, and then it was processed, and then we performed underwriting of the loan. So the user of the bank is in our system. Sometimes it is a certain group of users. Even we had the employers who were able to provide underwriting of the loan at the place of the client. So they could move there. Mobile experts. It was not adapted for the mobile phone, but we could perform the work remotely at the computer, at the laptop, and to give the management for processing of it immediately without waiting until the client is back to his office. Then the loan was transferred to the external CRM system, and the registration of the deal and credit loan provision with loan granting. So these are the main points. Once again, I want to emphasize that Lego constructor is not built within iBPM, but the main idea is that BPM is adopted for banking activity. It is a very effective tool which make the project faster and more cost-effective. Only 5 employees, including the head of the office, participated in this project. And it took us 1.5 months only to complete the project. Before we had 2 prototypes, and in total a couple of weeks were enough for us to create a prototype where the bank could make a pilot model on this prototype without integration. We also transferred the digital signature of the client, so it was a testing model. So this is the idea in general. I have described you the technology. I think it's an interesting case. And the idea is that the bank is not attached to some fixed model. The bank can change according to their needs. The bank can make automatization with us or make some amendments and additions on their own using our additional services. What is the specific feature of our engine? That the integration with specific services is done without separate development. Our expert analytic make settings on his own completely and also makes settings for incoming and outgoing messages, and here directs them for processing and for sending. This is totally on analytics. Sometimes we have such a model where on the screen we see beautiful squares, and if one clicks on this square, there is something not desirable. So our engine allows optimal procession of the work, processing. Dear colleagues, if you have questions, we may answer, or comments. Oh, common questions. Good afternoon. My name is Alexey. I'm from Plekhanova University. My question, first of all, I thank you for your speech. The case is really interesting. Your solution shows the advantages of the platforms created by you. I was amazed by the time of implementation when you told around 1.5 months with the participation of only 5 members. So after the implementation or during the implementation, did you have some difficulties? And how was your communication with the business process participants? What was the strategy and what were the changes? You see, we were lucky in this area because when the contractor wanted us to do something, usually they provide us with a team or with the owner of the project. It's like flowing responsibility. Therefore, we work with a team. We depend on the team. And otherwise, there is no way to complete the task. Yes, we had the team, and we had weekly deadlines and reports. Actually, communication was not the issue, but the problems were
Собственная разработка. Вот были несостыковки.
because bank has its own developments, and maybe there were some disagreements with our results and with the bank's developments. And on our part, it was done in in time. And until the bank approves, we cannot give it further for processing. But it's also not a big problem because it was solved on the level of the project heads. Yes, it's very short periods of time. However, it's not extreme. They are realized properly, and it's actually not. It was quite possible to do such projects during this time. Integration usually takes most of the time. From the point of view to test different options. It's not about the different requests from the clients. Like there was some interesting thing with addresses. If it is an apartment, it is usually a fixed address. But when it is a piece of land, then the address may differ. Or if it is around the field. So to find an address, it was not always possible when it is a piece of land. Therefore, we created certain algorithm. If the user prints the address and it cannot be found, and then we shortened until the client finds. If we failed in that, then we asked the user to enter himself in the account and to print the address manually. So these were some disagreements. Sometimes we were turning off the automatization in order to print the information manually, especially at early stage. Indeed, your system is very interesting. Your speech is wonderful. What are my questions? Intellectual engine. Could you explain what means intellectual engine? What are the principles? And next question, you already have knowledge database and database about objects. What are the means of work with those objects in order to include them in business processes? And the third question is adaptivity of this object base. Do you have probably a graphic tool? Good question. Yes, Alexey hinted me to tell about it. The first question, as I told, there are inserted elements with which the engine works, the blocks, the components inside of the system, and they should confirm certain requirements, both from the business and from the regulator. However, the engine itself has free structure of data preservation. So our developers and IT experts can make amendments in it. So they can make settings for the model and for preservation. and automatically they can add some field into the visual part and create the field of preservation of the data. Therefore, the analytic experts will see that transparent field. The aim of analytical expert is to fill the data, a set of data, according to the structure and the procedure. For example, loan granting or loan agreement requires certain data set and terms and other data. In order to take this data from dynamic structure, we have a certain model where from which field we should take certain information. Therefore, they can combine the fields. The same is regarding the request to external system. Regarding the visual part, which options are provided to the client? This is our own model. The simple model, which was developed by our developers, we enriched with another level of development. Text box, number, labels, and other additions. In this term, it works visually. Regarding the orchestra part, the stages, the processes, the combination of the processes are processed with working groups. They are visualized. We have tools for visualization. We have working group for each process. And we use it for visualization of the business processes in order to make it convenient for monitoring, to make it correct, and to make it conformed with the business. So our task is to paint and to look, not to make it automated, just visualization. And the object base is not visualized, is it? Yes, regarding the objects of the standards of our platform, it is visual with those visual components which are inserted in it. For example, a loan card. I meant some conceptual model like a database visualization. The whole system, no, not. But regarding engine, yes, visual model has been constructed. My name is Natalia. I'm representing Plekhanova University. My question is about analytical component regarding this separate project. Did you perform scoring? And did you involve external systems? And did your contractor order some additional things to add? And if you calculated pre-approved offer regarding this product, how would you process this flexible data? In terms of this particular project. Yes, we had the scoring of the client. It was convenient for the bank, and the bank agreed. And we ourselves, we tested the project of the loan granting. And there was a possibility to perform settings.
Именно правил проверки.
And the rules to assess the recipient in terms of whether he is in various blacklists, whether he lives in different locations. So any kind of outliers and age characteristics, and its all the elements are taken into account in this element. So in this project, they were not demanded by the customer, but from technical standpoint, it's quite possible. And we do this kind of business process now regarding analytics, and the case that we've given, that we have these cases, and we have our in-house bank storages that is for all the banks and underwritings, and also it's used for all the banking solutions, and it gives us a consolidated, comprehensive reporting. But we in our projects have the experience when, based on data force, we do a selection of customers who fit a certain number of requirements. They have the credit loans, and they don't have any overpaid loans, and still the financial load. They have the opportunities to spend a certain amount of money. They have confirmed income, and following this pool of customers, the selection was generated. First of all, it was launched when the bank wanted. They launched and did this selection of clients, and based on this selection, we automatically generated the business process in our system, and instantly they went into scoring first of all. So it's kind of a light scoring, and they verified that the client is not a terrorist, that the password's still relevant, that there might be some unpaid loans and microfinance organizations. He's still working, and everything is well. Then this business process then shifted to for calling. Then we do the callouts for the for telecom system, and then the telecom system, following its internal rules, taking into account the regions, the time zone, did the callouts, and when the customer was reached, then this call was routed to our system. Our system initially linked this business process, and then gave the decision, what you see in the application, to the consumer, that things are approved or not approved. And there was also opportunity to play with the loan, and maybe the term will be extended for this. So it is a working case, and we do it in FXL. So can I clarify? I do understand that the shipments or should have to include an analytical data storage, and it's set up for data filling solutions that could also implement this calculated procedures, and that would also include the operational part. Get back the data force analytical storage that we built. Its task is to get quick selections. We can organize them really quickly on the transactional system, but this will give us huge load on the transaction system, so they can do it as standalone storage. We do it without loads on the main system. And your platform, what is the frequency that it can allow to upload there? Well, what we have is one of our advantages. We do a quasi-online upload. We use technologies of databases that allows us, without no load on the main transactional system, to take from these magazines all the necessary information. In real life, yes, we can do it with an increment of 5 minutes. So really, the banks upload their information once per hour, maybe even more frequent. So we can take there from once per 5 minutes and once per. Is this call solution implemented? Yes, it's directly in the interface, and we do an universal SDK at the current moment. We do this Genesis, and the system can have the direct decision, and we can do also a CRM. We don't position the system as a separate CRM, and the platform allows us because it's nice in connection, and these elements allow the bank to build this business process from starting from processes and ending up with accounts. So this is the way that it's built. Thank you very much. It might be a long time to wait. Dmitry Krok, and thank you very much for your presentation. And we have BPM systems that can be low code or not low code because it's C# there. But we also do this pre-installation, and also when you were selected, uh, bank selected based on case for mortgage loans? Yes, specifically for mortgage loan case. Well, this answer is as follows: that core system and back office lie on you, so it's no secret that bank use ZIPL IT system. We've embedded ZIPL in our system. We had 5.0 in our system. FIFIs, yourself, FlexTherma. I don't know whether they were considered or not, because our solution turned out to be the best one. So it seems to me that it's unlikely that the companies you listed would be able to do this project in 1.5 months. Yes, okay, take into account. Thank you very much. And what about the back part? Maybe we did this selection for the sake of a specific solution, a choice to make a certain architecture that's already there to do the connection between these systems. If you have any questions, you can ask, because we've spent a lot of time. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time and attention.